On his yes, we'll have the ding hit there. Let's see how that sounds.
Is your favorite thing coffee?
Yes. It makes my mind.
What the heck happened there? I thought I took my new one that fades out. That should fade out like the others. Lo says, yeah, what's going on, guys? Are we having some issues? I don't know if this is something I need to troubleshoot, or if it's something on the other end, but according to my OBS, I'm feeding out video. So let me know, and we can try to maybe troubleshoot some stuff in real time if we need to. But in the meantime, I'm going to replace this with this. I think this should be the right one.
Yes. Yes. It makes my.
We lost you for a bit. Huh. Oh yeah, look. It looks like my OBS is showing me a yellow and a red thing that doesn't seem great. You guys, let me know. Yeah, it says Anarcho Aesthetic says, oh hey. I guess that means I'm back. Let me know if there's an issue. Maybe I am having some internet issues once again. Let's see. Let me know if it's an issue. Let's forge ahead though. Got this other ding here.
Yes. It makes my. I need to have that coffee for a second.
Of course that's John.
I do a
Of course
cold.
it
I
is.
make my own cold brew.
Nobody gives
Out of
a
Cafe
shit.
Du Monde chicory infused
Zero
coffee.
people ask for your
I
process.
do a 50-50
He
oat
wrote
milk.
this answer so that he could
cafe
tell us
au
about
lait.
all this shit.
I put turmeric in there. I put a little cayenne.
It's not a
pinch of
turmeric.
cayenne.
It's not a turmeric? Yeah.
It's a turmeric.
You got some kind of thing that doesn't exist called turmeric?
Yeah.
It's not a turmeric.
Let's do one more.
Turmeric
I'm
to
getting-
lower your blood pressure? Oh.
I think it's
an
anti-inflammatory.
anti-inflammatory.
And it's turmeric.
Turmeric.
Whatever.
Did I say it wrong?
My favorite holiday is St. Patrick's Day.
That's fucking Rory.
Rory.
Too obvious? Yeah.
Rory, for 10 years, Rory.
Where are we gonna add the ding on that one? Maybe when Rory says yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see how that sounds.
Yeah.
Rory, for 10 years, Rory has invited me to this big giant St. Patrick's Day party
It's the best.
that he got invited to once,
Been
or that
crashing
he
this.
crashed once and
Yeah.
kept getting invited to everywhere because that's just Rory. He can crash a party and then get invited to it for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
So, yeah, let's report in here, guys. Is everything okay with the stream? Let me know if you can see me running smoothly again. Oh, my OBS is showing green again. I think maybe it might have been internet on my end because it looked like I'm still learning OBS and all this stuff, but it started flashing this yellow and red box that is normally green. So, logic would dictate that that might have been the issue. But what we did then, if you guys missed that, was we just added our first sound effects, a few dings when the person announces that it was their favorite thing. We've got this one.
It's
Yeah.
Rory.
It is Rory,
Cosmo.
yeah.
Rory, wait, who's
Alright.
Cosmo and
he
why do
turns
you
into
like
a
him?
spaceship. It's the one that makes the most sense.
Cosmo, the favorite, going strong. Okay, great. Yeah, it might have been my internet. You know, it's great that the government stops all monopolies except for the internet one, because I would love to have a choice. But I've only got Spectrum. Man, I had Verizon Fios when I lived in Queens, and my God, that internet was so dank. Man, it was good. Oh boy. Never had issues like this, but unfortunately it's not even an option here in uptown New York City, where I currently pay too much to live. Here's the other ding.
I don't have to tell you, and it wasn't my thing.
Malachi gets
wasn't
no
me.
points. I think you guys get points. We're going to say you guys get points.
Wow.
I think you guys get points.
Then maybe that was a.
Johnny, is your favorite thing coffee?
Yes. It makes my. I need to have that coffee for a
Of
second.
course that's John.
I do a
Of course
cold.
it
I
is.
make my own cold brew.
Nobody.
Yeah, same here. It was like such a downgrade. But what can you do? What can you do aside from beg Verizon by filling out a little questionnaire every now and then about how much I want Fios that never seems to move the needle? They also have to like contact your landlord in a lot of cases, especially I don't know where you are, but in New York City, the infrastructure is also crazy here that they have to like get your landlord's permission so they can come like run a fiber cable into your building, and it's a big to do, and nobody wants to deal with it, but it's so good. It's such good internet. Here's our last. I think this is our last ding.
Yeah.
Roy, for 10 years, Roy has invited me to this.
They are the
big
scummiest, and
giant,
it's
like,
because
Oh,
it
they're
used to
the
be
best.
Time
that he
Warner,
got
and then they just
invited to
changed their
once,
name. Time
that
Warner
he
was
crashed once and
notoriously
kept
just the
getting
worst piece of
invited to
shit
everywhere, 'cause
internet and
that's
cable
just
provider in
Rory.
the
You can
country.
crash a party and then get invited to it for the next 10 years.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it's this guy. He runs a hedge fund right along the parade route. My friend took me one year because he worked in the same building, and he's got a wraparound terrace. Those people from the parade come up. He has
Yeah,
bands,
yeah.
open bar, free booze, and so I just pretend I work there. And so every year I bring more people, and I corner him like, Mr. Hogan, you've outdone yourself this year. And he's like, oh, Rory, great, always great for you to come out here. So to the part, like the last time I went, he started giving me corporate secrets. He's like, don't tell anyone, but I'm sharing
I've
selling
got
my shares.
insider
Like,
trading for
yeah,
you there, buddy.
I won't tell anybody, Mr. Hogan.
All right, let's do round 2.
All right, we're at round 2. Lowe's says I hated Spectrum. Was super happy when I got Google. Oh, Google Fiber. That would be dank too. That sounds good. Any fiber, man. That fiber optic connection's so good. Have your monopolies in Canada too. At least your condos offers fiber. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about how America's a first world country. But then I go to other countries and I see all of the superior infrastructure that they have, and you have to wonder. We're going to do round 2. I've been chugging this cup of coffee, so I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then I'll be back, and we will start soundscaping round 2. This is where we're going to get into some really heavier stuff, because you'll see when we get into round 2, but the segment, I think will benefit from some massive soundscaping. So we'll do a little bit more than we've been doing up to this point. Enjoy my new Be Right Back screen. I just made it this morning, and I'll be right back. All right. Speaking of other countries with proper infrastructure, this photo was taken on me and Angie's honeymoon. We were in Ireland at the time. There's a giant American flag behind me, and it was the 4th of July, and we were in Killarney in Ireland, and they had like massive 4th of July celebrations. American, I mean, it's only I thought it was only a holiday here, but they loved it. In Killarney, Ireland, they had a parade that I always describe as being like having a dream about a 4th of July parade because it was so bizarre. It was like all these weird kind of intellectual property theft characters walking around in suits that look kind of like Mickey Mouse, and Harley Davidsons and Westerns and like a lot of very weird American stereotypes. And me and Angie just decided that maybe they just love holidays about kicking the English out of your country. So that's where this photo came from. Yes, and it does look like Twitch is giving me some pointers here, unprompted, about improving my latency. So I think it's probably just an internet issue. Although, I will say, I'm back, that I live in a building with a lot of, and a neighborhood with a lot of Orthodox Jewish folks, and usually things like internet latency and the laundry room and the elevator and stuff like that are a real wonder from Friday night to Saturday night, because they don't use any technology during Shabbat. So I don't know where my bandwidth is today. Anarcho Aesthetic says one of the Irish streamers I follow pretty much said the same thing this fourth. That's really funny. It is that we also heard that there were a lot of American expats in Killarney, which could account for that too. But it was just so it was just like a full on. I mean, there's an American flag behind me. It was like in Ireland. Like what? Like why do they love Fourth of July so much? But yeah, it's just like hell yeah, kick the English out of your country. We love that. So let's get into soundscaping and editing round two. This one will be a little bit more hands-on because, like I said, I have some more ideas for this one. But let's give it a listen, and I'll stop it when we get to the part where I want to start adding sounds.
Let's do round two. This one's called Cut. For this scene, you three will be actors in the latest blockbuster movie, and I'll play the director attempting to squeeze every droplet of creative dribble from you before your union forces me to stop. From time to time, I'll yell cut and give you guys some new directions. Sound good?
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
All right. We'll start you off with a prompt, too. It's some sort of Marvel crossover movie, but I won't tell you what it's a crossover of. You guys can figure that out as you go along. Action!
I am the.
All right. So action. I'm going to put a little cut in there just to mark my place. And now we have to go shopping for some sounds because I don't have any sounds that I want to use. But basically, told them we're doing a Marvel crossover movie, and they're going to figure out what the crossover is while they're doing the scene. But my idea is to add just some general space or superhero warfare noise behind that. I don't have any noises in my sound library that I've been building that will do for that. So let's see if this works. I have another window. Free sound. Okay, there it is. Let's see if this works too. Can we see that? Okay, yeah, this is my credits and accolades file. It's just a Google Doc that I keep running, and this is essentially credits that I have to post, and I'm happy to post for all of the Creative Commons sound effects that I use in all of our episodes. If you're ever curious about that kind of stuff, there's a link at the bottom of every episode that takes you to this Google Doc, and I just add to it. And we're going to start adding to it now because I want to keep track of all the sounds that I'm using as I'm doing it. It just makes it a lot easier. We don't have an episode title yet, so I'm going to call that TK. Do you use TK in the legal profession, Los? Sound off in the comments. I was curious about that. Something we use in book publishing. So we have used a ding so far, which is a bell that I frequently use. So I'm going to grab the credit from elsewhere in this document. I just need to find out where it is. Bell candle damper. I think it was this one. So you can link straight to the sound, and yes, we will see. That is our sound that we are familiar with that I just added from my sound library. So I'm going to just paste it down here. It's just the name of the file with a link to it by the person who made it, licensed under what portion of Creative Commons. Creative Commons is just a it's a free way of copywriting things, I guess. So you can add like some restrictions on it, but the main idea is that, you're not getting compensation for the thing you're making. You're basically just getting credit or attribution. But this is our little bell that we used for the last round. So that's what we'll add. That'll be the first one we add to this one. And then we need to go shopping on freesound.org, which is where I get a lot of my sounds, if not almost all of my sounds that we use for Versus. It's a Creative Commons website that just hosts a lot of sounds. And then actually, if you go here, I added my first sounds to this website recently. And they're all things that I took while I was in Italy. I was just walking around with my phone a lot when I was in Italy. I actually kind of thought about bringing a microphone of some sort, but I didn't want to look like a psycho carrying a microphone around because nobody does that. But I'm interested in starting to capture like ambient noise and stuff like that. And so if you're interested, you can go to freesound.org and search me at the L200 stir, and you can listen to some of the sounds I took while I was in Italy, like I was just by Lake Como, the birds chirping and stuff. And I actually turned this into a little audio project for my family that I went on the trip to Italy with. And that was really cool. My dad said it made him cry. So let's see. What are we doing? We're looking for a sound that'll be like a space battle. Or like a superhero battle. But I think you kind of have to think, even if it's a superhero battle, the way you have to think about searching for these is more general, like describing the noise you want to hear, which I think would be more of like a space battle or like a space war or something like that. And I did do some searching here. This sounds good, but it's so crazy that it might not work. Just having that kind of running quietly in the background, it is so much though. Like I would like that, but like tone down a little bit. But let's see what other options we have here. Maybe something like this will be more appropriate. Yeah, or we could find a segment of this, because we probably won't need the whole thing. It's very long. It's over 6 minutes long. This is nuts, though. This is too much. That's kind of insane. What does it sound like later, though? Because there's... Oh, this might work for later in the segment. This might be perfect, actually. So I usually, when I start finding ones that I like, I start opening them onto other tabs as I kind of shop around. Let's see what else we have here, but I think this one might work. Not the whole thing, but I think a clip of it will work really well. Nah. Well, I'm intrigued by it, but it's not right for this. But I feel like it might be good for the futuristic battlefield. Sounds so crazy. Maybe. Because when you guys hear the actual content too, it'll make more sense why that's so funny to me, because it's very subdued. I want the background noise to be like stark juxtaposition to like the very like subdued conversation that they're having during this. So let's listen to one or two more. Oh Lord. Oh God. Sorry. You never know what you're gonna get. These are too short. Okay, I think one of these that we found is gonna work. I might grab both of them and then see. I don't know. This one specifically, I think this part might work for later in the segment. This part. I'm going to grab this one. So I'm just going to download it and add it to my sound library. You guys won't be able to see this, unfortunately, because I'm just working in some windows in my computer. But I have a little Versus folder where I'm starting to make a big old sound library. I would call this one, I have a folder called War. Unfortunately, I don't have one called Peace, but I do have one called War. been a lot of war. If you're a fan of the podcast, you will know there have been many decapitations and murders, and basically everything. I call this space battle. And let's get this into our Audacity environment, and let's start looking at our Audacity environment again. So, how do I get back? Oh, that's something different here. Edit window. Okay, so we're back in Audacity. I've got my sound effect. Let's get it into the program war, and I called this space battle. So we're going to pull it into Audacity. It is this huge, crazy sounding, very loud file down here. Let's see which segment of this we might. Well, how much of it do we need, I guess, is a good question to ask. So let's go look at this. Maybe we'll listen to the segment first, and then we will find together a piece of that file that'll work. Let's make sure it's not bleeding down into here right now. Okay. Let's listen to the segment.
I am the.
Okay, so
We'll start you off with a prompt too. It's some sort of Marvel crossover movie, but I won't tell you what it's a crossover of. You guys can figure that out as you go along. Action!
I am the incredible turd. Turd up.
Wow. But if we change it to Shit Hulk instead of She Hulk, then you could be her sidekick.
I know. Well, we thought that was a little.
Let's see Shit-Hulk. Action!
Hey! Oh, hey! Incredible Turd, why don't you come join forces with me?
Man, I told you not to call me that anymore. It's Shit Hulk now, and don't make me.
okay. So I want to have some battle noises under this whole Shit Hulk Incredible Turd thing. And then what I'm wondering is, when I come in,
Let's see Shit-Hulk.
if we need a clap noise or something like that, cut out the crazy battle noises, but let's get some battle noises in there and see how it sounds to begin with. Let's see which of these we might want to use. How's it sound? It starts out a lot quieter here. Maybe something like this will work for this beginning part. Yeah, I like that. So let's see, I just said we were going to see how much of it we need, but I forgot to actually do that. So let's see how much. Starts at 2243.
I am the incredible turd. Turd up.
Wow. But if we change it to Shit Hulk instead of She Hulk, then you could be her sidekick.
I know. Well, we thought that was a little.
Okay, let's see how this sounds underneath here. I'm just going to drop, that's the segment we need. Let's just copy this straight into there. And I'm going to use this, actually I'll cut it out, and then I'm actually going to get rid of this row. I'm just going to use this sound effects line here, paste it in. We'll have some space battle noise coming in under them. It's always a challenge to not make it too loud, but make it loud enough so that it's not completely fading in. But this is a pretty loud file. Actually, let's keep that in here. I'm going to snip this segment here. And we'll see how we continue using that. But let's see how this sounds generally. Lower the volume a little bit on it. Okay.
Figure that out as
Oops, I need to actually make it so that you can hear it too. Okay.
figure that out as you go along. Action!
I am the incredible turd.
That's too loud, I think.
Action!
I am the incredible turd.
But if we change it to Shit Hulk instead of She Hulk, then you could be her sidekick.
I know. Well, we thought that was a little.
It starts to get a little too loud there, and they're being quieter. So what you can do here is lower this section even a little bit more. This is kind of what you're seeing a mini version of what I do when I mix the whole episode. I have to go through and kind of do this for all of the audio, just so that it's at a good balance.
Go along. Action! I am the Incredible Turd.
But if we change it to Shit-Hulk instead of She-Hulk, then you can be her sidekick.
I know. Well, we thought that.
As soon as Malachi starts talking, I think it needs to be a lot quieter. So I'm going to turn it way down from kind of that point on.
But if we change it to Shit-Hulk instead of
That's too quiet now. See what I mean? It's always hard to find a good balance. And I mean, welcome to welcome to what we do with this episode, or when we edit an episode of Versus, is listen to the same part a million times over and over and over again. So, welcome to the wonderful world of audio production.
But if we change it to Shit-Hulk instead of She-Hulk, then you can be her sidekick.
I know. Well, we thought that was a little.
Okay, I think that sounds pretty good. I think I want something to transition us between when I'm talking. Let's see Shit-Hulk action, and then transition us back into the battle noises. I think that might work. So I don't think I have a transition noise like that. So let's go back to the free sound. Actually, also now that I'm relatively sure that I'm going to use this sound in the final episode, let's go ahead and log this one too. On our little thing here. So give the name of it by the person who created it. I'm going to get rid of this. Person who created it is, oh no, that's the other one. It was Omar. Thank you for pointing that out, Los. I might have put the wrong person. Licensed, if I can spell licensed under, and then you give the Creative Commons license they list here, which is this one. CC BY. Some of these, we might run afoul. Essentially, the only difference between these, it's BY 4.0. Creative Commons licenses is some people are like, I don't want using my sound to make money. If it's something, they don't want companies using it for a product. They don't want, podcasts necessarily using it if you're turning a profit on the podcast, which we aren't for Versus right now. So don't feel bad about using these Creative Commons sounds. We just may run afoul if we ever try to monetize Versus. I might need to go back and replace some of these. It's some of these that say like NC. That means no something, no cash. It's not no cash, but it's something like that, where they don't want you using it for monetary gain. So maybe I'll be fucked in the future and I'll have hours worth of work ahead of me, but that'll be a happy problem because it means we're making money off of Versus. And then for most of these licenses, let's see what it says here. But attribution, no other restrictions. That means this person just wants credit, but some of these say that they want you to kind of say if you changed the sound at all, or if you made any alterations, or like whatever, they just want you to kind of state it. So usually just as a matter of courtesy, even if they don't require it, I usually state what I did to it. No capitalists. I mean, yeah, Los, but I gotta eat, brah. No, I know what you mean. So I'm gonna say used in part and in segments. That feels fair, because that'll probably cover anything we're gonna do with this sound effect going forward. So we've logged that one, and then the reason we came back over to the screen originally too was to find like a, what would you call that? A director's clap or something like that? Is that gonna get us there? No. What are those things called? A slate? A director's slate? Is that what they're called? A movie slate? The things that go clap. That's not loud enough. I kind of want it to echo. That's not what we want at all. That's way too spooky. No. This is far too spooky. This isn't what we're looking for at all. God damn it. That is what they're called, right? A movie slate? Is that a slate board? A slate board, right? I can't imagine they don't have... Maybe just try slate board? Chalk on a wooden slate. Film slate. Yeah, that's it, but I want That's so dull. No, that's somebody writing on a chalkboard. Probably this too. Maybe I just need to get away from the movie slate thing and just look for a loud snap. That sounds much closer to what I had envisioned in my brain. We can get that resonance off the end of it and just have that snap. That could work. That's too quiet. I don't know what that is. Nah. I think we can work with that first one. What is that? A freaking coffee shop writing a freaking poem? Never thought podcasts would have APA, MLA, or Chicago Manual style citations. Clapperboard is what I've always heard. Let's search for clapperboard too. Yeah, this this is definitely not. It's not Chicago Manual style. I can tell you that much. But they're not very specific about how you need to cite it. So that's why I don't feel bad being kind of broad. So this snap here might work. Adun says clapperboard is what I've always heard. So let's see if clapperboard gives us any results. Clapperboard slating. Yeah, still too. Even though this is the interesting thing about Foley work is, even though this is technically, it's almost like food styling, right? Like you have to you can't baste a chicken in butter and take a photo of it because it doesn't look good. You baste it in like motor oil, and it looks better on the camera. And this is kind of like that for Foley work because even though this sound, what we're looking at, is exactly what I'm asking for, it's not what I'm picturing in my head. What I'm picturing in my head is much more of a loud snap like this. So I think we're going to go with that one, but this is what is, yeah, clapperboard gave us some good results, but I still don't think it's not what I want. I want it to be a big interjection. That's not bad either. Ooh, that's a good one. Well, let's look at that one too, actually. I'll put that one. I think between these two, you guys are seeing me switch between these tabs too, right? Okay, yeah, cool. I just want to make sure you could see what I was actually doing. That sounds pretty good. I don't know. I think that snap. I think I still like that snap better. So let's grab this one. Download it. And then let's, how will I remember this? Slate, and we'll call it a clapperboard, which is the new word I just learned for it. And I have a folder called interjections. I think this is a good one to categorize as an interjection. So we're back in Audacity. Let's go back to Audacity. Let's pull that sound in. Interjections, and I called it a slate clapperboard. There it is. We won't need this long tail it's got here. Let's shorten it up here while we've got it under control. I think I probably just want, there's like a weird droning at the end of it too. What does it sound like if I get rid of all of that? That's not long enough. That weird droning at the end of it. It's almost like an air conditioner on or something. Maybe we're not going to go with this one. I kind of didn't hear that. All right, we're going to go with the other one, actually. Calling in an audible here. We're going to go with the actual clapperboard. So many thanks to Adun for telling me what that was actually called. So let's pull this in. I just got to do some work over here again. Some stuff you can't see. Yes. I'm going to get rid of that other one. I don't think I'll use that for anything else. because I ended up not loving the quality of that sound in the end. Okay, so now we've grabbed the other one, and I just called it Slate Clapperboard again. I just saved over it. It's actually, you'll see here, this one, these two, all these other tracks are split into two because they're stereo tracks. This must be a mono sound effect, so we're going to have to keep this special little track around because I can't drop these sound effects onto a stereo line. That's going to be great in the end. I think that's perfect. So I'm going to move it up just so I can work with it a little easier, and I'm going to cut it, and then let's go to, whoops, I pushed the wrong button, back to the cut. So I'm probably going to want to have the sound happen, snap, it's going to interject really loud, and then I kind of want to start talking probably into it. This is my voice right here. Let's make these blue again, easier to see. This is going to be super loud, so we're going to have to make this quieter. Usually if you make this waveform the size of other surrounding waveforms you can see, it tends to be. Let's see how this sounds.
Let's see Shithulk action.
Actually, man, that sounds all right. Let's get a little more context and see how it sounds in context of the actual scene.
But if we change it to Shit-Hulk instead of She-Hulk, then you could be her sidekick.
I know. Well, we thought that was a little.
Let's see Shithulk action.
All right, I want it to be really fast now. Let's see Shithole action. Clap again. We're going to move this out again. That's way too far, but I'm just going to get it out of the way for now. Add that clap, and then maybe we can continue. Maybe I'll just start this sound effect over again since we already have that soundscape too. It'll be let's see Shithulk action, clap, and then just have them start right again. And then we could even maybe, since we're gonna, I think this segment lasts a little longer than the last one did. Let's look at more of this. We might be able to continue, because that's where we cut it before. It's gonna bring it back in, and we might just be able to continue with the sound effect as it was and use the rest of it for as much as we need. But this part at least is already mixed for us. Let's see what this sounds like in context.
But if we change it to Shit-Hulk instead of She-Hulk, then you could be her sidekick.
I know. Well, we thought that was a little.
Let's see Shithulk action.
Hey! Oh, hey! Incredible Turd, why don't you come join
That
forces?
sounds alright. It sounds a little slow to me.
Hey! Oh, hey!
No, I think that might
Incredible
sound okay.
Turd, why don't you come join forces with me?
Man, I told you not to call me that anymore. It's shit Hulk now, and don't make me angry.
I think it needs to be quieter. Also, feel free to weigh in. I don't know how great the audio is on y'all's end, but you know, if something sounds way too quiet or way too loud or whatnot, I'm not sure how great of a reproduction it is. You know, considering I'm kind of messing with the levels on through OBS and stuff, it's not like true audio quality that you would get in an MP3 or whatever. But you know, let me know if something sounds kooky bananas. The only thing with this is I think I might want them to come in a little bit sooner. I'm just gonna inch them back.
It was a little.
Let's see Shithulk action.
Hey! Oh, hey! Incredible Turd, why
Sounds
don't you
pretty good.
come join forces with me?
Man, I told you not to call me that anymore. It's shit Hulk now, and don't make me angry.
Hey, we have our own superheroes here at Mystic River.
Okay, so now you guys know what Rory chose to be the crossover, Marvel crossover, which is a Mystic River crossover. I definitely want to make sure that you can hear his joke over all the bullshit in the background. I'm just going to listen to it another time with that in mind, essentially.
Hey! Oh, hey! Incredible Turd, why don't you come join forces with me?
Man, I told you not to call me that anymore. It's shit Hulk now, and don't make me angry.
Hey, we have our own superheroes here at Mystic River. Yeah. Is that my daughter in there? Is that my daughter in there?
Okay, we're gonna have to before we go on. This sounds pretty good so far. I think I agree. Thank you, Lis and Anarcho Aesthetic. Did you get? Are you? Is this Aesthetic Anarchist also? I'm realizing. And did you have to change your username for some reason? Sorry, I'm just putting that together. I'm gonna lower this volume down to kind of the volume that it is to the surrounding wave file because we're just continuing this. Let's see how it sounds.
Yeah. Is that my daughter in there? Is that my daughter in there?
Hey, shithole! Do you use all the toilet paper?
No, I don't do that unless I'm angry, Malachi. You know that.
Damn, shithole! Then who did it?
I don't know.
This is one of these beautiful things that seems to happen when I'm soundscaping sometimes is this break in the action where he says
Then who did it?
it's just it times out so perfectly, and this happens so often when I'm soundscaping that like the sound I'm using will just happen to coincide perfectly with something. I love that break though, where it gets quiet and he says,
No,
"Then who
I
did
don't
it?"
do that unless I'm angry, Malachi. You know that.
Damn, shithole! Then who did it?
I don't know who murdered this man's daughter.
Get out of my Mystic River! Is that my daughter in there?
God, why did we ever come here from Metropolis anyway?
I don't know.
All right.
Okay, that's another cut. Yeah, I like this so far. This is turning out great. So this is another cut. I'm gonna have another slate in here. Let's put a cut in there just to kind of mark where we are. Yes, sir. I was trying to make it easier to say. Okay, anarcho-aesthetic. Yes, aesthetic anarchist. I guess this that makes it difficult to say. An aesthetic anarchist. Aesthetic is kind of a odd word to have to say too because it has that ace, which is not a sound we make in English often. So what was I doing? We need a clap, another one of the clap noises for the break here. Let's see. I want to find that easier. Zoom in on this. Oh, is that the slate clapper was? Wait, did it let me? Oh, it did let me paste it in onto this line. Oh, usually if it's a mono sound and showing up on a mono track like this, it makes me keep the mono track and it doesn't let me paste it into the stereo track, but it did this time, so I'm going to get rid of that and make it a little easier, cleaner. So I'm going to grab the clapper again. We have this here. And zoom in a little bit, and that's where we broke from where I'm going to say, all right, cut again. Oops, not on that line, but I want to cut this one out. And we're going to have another clap in here, and that means we also need to cut this sound effect here and just move it out again. Just get it out of the way, and then let's paste our clapper in. And then I pretty much want to start talking almost over the clapper. So I'm going to move the content back in kind of. Actually, it sort of almost doesn't need to move at all, it looks like. Let's see what it sounds like.
Metropolis anyway.
I don't know.
All right, cut. I don't know.
That sounds good. Also, let's make sure this thing isn't clipping us out too, because I haven't been looking at the soundbar.
All right.
No, that's perfect. Okay, so I talk a little bit more about bullshit.
All right, cut. I don't know. Mystic River. I mean, we've got.
Yeah, Sean Penn's daughter is murdered and he thinks Tim
There's-
Robbins did it.
There's actually a Mystic River involved in the movie.
I don't know. It could be someone's name.
Can we get Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Oh,
Wait, in Mystic River, Sean Penn's daughter is missing, and what else happens?
They think one of their old chums did it, Tim Robbins, and so they kill. I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, they
you.
kill him?
So they start talking about Mystic River in the middle of this sketch, which is fine. I love to encourage dumb fuckery like this on Versus. Because as much as all of us love improvised comedy, I think we've all had it almost spoiled sometimes, probably by some dork who took it way too seriously and never lets you not yes and them, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I like about our show is we just do whatever we want. And then we've always got the games to fall back on, which is great. That's what I like about it. It is a three dudes talking into the mic podcast, which we have in droves these days, but we always have the games to fall back on, which is what I love so much about Versus. So what are we doing here? I'm going to start the war. Okay, now we're coming up on the thing that I said I wanted to use in the middle. What's the over/under for comedians having ADHD? I don't know, but I think depression is a lot higher on that. I don't know about ADHD because I'm not a comedian. If you're talking about me loving doing stuff like this, I wouldn't consider myself a comedian, but I am comedian adjacent. But I do love stuff like this, and it was funny. Me and Malachi and John were talking about this recently. I was talking about how much fun I was having editing an episode, just describing what I was doing like this, and Malachi was like, "That sounds like hell to me." Anarcho Aesthetic says your brain runs on tangents. Yeah, likewise. But I can always trace back how I got there. Yeah, like I said something that sounded like a total non sequitur out loud to Angie the other day, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Here's how we got there," and I kind of. I was able to like trace my thoughts backwards. So what I want to do here, let's find the spot I want, because there was that part in the middle when we were looking at the sound that I said might be perfect for later on in the sketch. And actually, we have a couple of sounds to record here, don't we? We have that space battle. Let's switch over to the other screen real quick. We've got the clapper sound now, which we are firmly certain is going to go into the show. So let's take notes on that one. So this is clapboard sound by UEffects. God bless you, sir or madam, or any other way you identify. Licensed under, I can never type the word licensed correctly the first time. Creative Commons CC0 1.0. This essentially means like do whatever you want. Do what you want with my body. It's the do what you want with my body of product licenses or IP licenses. All right, so that's the clapperboard sound. And then have we used anything else? No, we've got the space battle here. That's it so far. So we're going to find the part in the sketch I was talking about that I think would be perfect for that other part of the sound. Then we're going to find the sound, then we're going to line them up. So here we go.
I don't know. It could be someone's name.
Can we get Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Oh,
Wait, in Mystic River, Sean Penn's daughter is missing, and what else happens?
They think one of their old chums did it, Tim Robbins, and so they kill. I don't want to spoil it.
Oh, they kill him?
But they kill
Yeah,
him.
no, because the first.
But then
thing
they cover it up, right?
The
That's
first
the
thing I
thing
was
that
planning on
it
doing
hangs over them for years.
Well, they find out he didn't.
Is there any relation to Mystic Pizza? Is that the same? Is that like the sequel?
Yeah, she used to work at Mystic Pizza.
No, I'm asking an actual question.
Oh, yeah.
Mystic River and Mystic Pizza have no relation to each other?
No,
no,
they don't talk.
none whatsoever.
All right.
No, they did not make a sequel to Mystic River called Mystic Pizza.
Well, maybe they did. Don't say that fucking condescendingly. Maybe they did. I just don't know. I haven't seen any of those corny-ass, dumbass movies.
Mystic River is a good movie. Okay?
Has anybody in this room seen I Got the Hookup 1 or 2?
Okay.
Okay. So they go on a long tangent about Mystic River. And I come back in to remind them that we were trying to do a sketch about a Marvel crossover movie by interjecting that there's a large space laser warming up.
Okay, now you guys are seeing the giant red space laser. The space laser's heating up. Okay. All right, it's about to shoot down onto the Earth.
So there was this whom 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 in the middle of this sound that we heard when we were listening to it on the website. Let's hear. I think it was around here. Let's see. I think this might be perfect for the space laser heating up. We can make it a little louder, probably. What's the end of it sound like? That just gets crazy again, apparently. I don't want to go to war in space, y'all. It's going to be nuts. I want to just make funny podcasts and be at peace. All right. I think when this boom, whoop, 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 which starts here, I guess, would be good for the space laser. So let's chop it here. I love when a sound effect comes together like this. This is absolutely perfect. We found everything we needed in one sound effect. So how are we going to present this? They're going on a Mystic River tangent.
Good movie. Okay.
Has anybody in this room seen I Got the Hookup 1 or 2?
I've seen the first one. But how about Funny Podcast in Space? Oh, man. Me and Jared Warner have been kicking around an idea for a spaceship show that I want to do as an audio drama for so long. But it's just, we all got so much stuff going on. It's this idea we've had about when we just started spitballing. Me and Jared were out at the bar one night and started spitballing about what all of the jobs would be that all the members of Murder Fist, the jobs they would have on the spaceship. If we were to come across a spaceship and need to man a spaceship. And then it turned into a probably 10 plus year nostalgia trip of us talking about owning a spaceship and being on a spaceship, and he'd be the captain and I'd be the pilot, and Henry Sabrowski be chief of security, and we've been talking about this for literally a decade. So let's see how this sounds. I'm gonna probably want the sound to come in really hard to kind of shake us out of this reverie of Mystic River and back into the Marvel movie.
Okay.
Has anybody in this room seen I Got the Hookup 1 or 2?
Okay, now you guys are seeing the red space laser, the space laser.
Man, that sounds pretty good. I like that a lot. I'm gonna make it a little quieter, as it seemed like that might be loud. Let's listen. Let's look at it on the meter too.
Okay.
That's about as loud as it can be. I think contextually that'll sound really funny too, because how long have they been talking about Mystic River here? And all of a sudden we're kind of reminded that they were supposed to be doing something completely else. Let's listen to a good bit of context here.
Suddenly, maybe they did.
Oh shit. Also, I didn't realize I didn't switch back to the Audacity window. Sorry. Yeah, Los, we were talking about doing it maybe as a tabletop RPG too. I can't bear to learn a different tabletop RPG format than I just learned how to DM D&D at the beginning of the pandemic was when I learned how to do it, and I'm still very into D&D and don't want to branch into other tabletops. But there's a really good tabletop RPG D&D podcast called Rude Tales of Magic too, if you haven't heard of that one, which is kind of what inspired me to want to do that, and Not Another D&D podcast really made me want to do a audio drama actual play podcast at some point. And the people who do Rude Tales also do another one called These Those Stars of Space, I think it's called, and I haven't listened to it, but I'm sure it's great because they're just fantastic, and it's like a similar thing. It's a space tabletop, but they really do it's just a lot of play acting. Anyway, we were going to listen to what this sounds like before I started talking about tabletop RPGs.
Okay.
Has anybody in this room seen
I want to listen to more of it. I want to kind of get a little bit further back and hear what this really sounds like, shocking you out of the context of Mystic River here.
Sequel to Mystic River called Mystic Pizza.
Well, maybe they did. Don't say that fucking kind of suddenly. Maybe they did. I just don't know. I haven't seen any of those corny-ass, dumbass movies.
Mystic River is a good movie. Okay.
Has anybody in this room seen I Got the Hookup 1 or 2?
Okay, now you guys are seeing the giant red space laser. The space laser's heating up, okay? All right, it's about to shoot down onto the Earth. What are you guys going to do to stop it?
Quick, make me angry, Malachi.
Hey, I heard that you weren't very...
So this is good. We might be able to make the whoomp 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 a little louder than it is. Let's see.
Okay, now you guys are seeing the giant red space...
That's too loud.
2?
Okay, now you guys are seeing the giant red space laser. The space laser's
is good.
heating up, okay? All right, it's about to shoot down onto the Earth. What are you guys going to do to stop it?
Quick, make me.
That's good. I support D&D. I was working on a new character sheet just a bit ago. That's awesome, man. I would say I've seen you. I know that you're pining for D&D, man, and I see you on the internet pining for D&D, and you might just have to do what I did, man, because I pined for tabletop for years and years, and I decided the only way it was ever going to happen was if I ran my own game. So you should get to get the player's handbook first, and then the Dungeon Master's Manual. Read those two books, and try to get a game together, man. And don't let your wife judge you, because I bet she'd enjoy it. In the end, it's just improv the board game, really, is all it is riffing with your friends, and you get to roll a bunch of wacky dice. I got a campaign going with Kep, our friend Kep, and friend of the podcast and friend of the stream, Kel Maloney, and I had another one going, which was a homebrew campaign, which we were trying to turn into a podcast, but it fell apart kind of when my wife got spine surgery last year. But she's doing great. Just didn't have time for all that. Anyway, that's an aside about my life. I think this is going to work maybe through the end. Hopefully this whoomp, whoomp, whoomp goes until the end of what we need, but let's listen to what we got. I got about another hour here just to give you guys a heads up on what's going on. Hopefully we'll get through it because the rest of this I don't think needs to be soundscape too heavily, but we do have to kind of listen to the audio and see what's needed. So I'm going to, Los, you might want to cover your ears so you don't die of jealousy. But Skulk the Hulking's having a little housewarming party tonight, so we're going to go to Skulk's at about 4 or 5 o'clock. But I will do this and hang out with you all in the meantime. Let's continue.
Fucking condescendingly, maybe they did. I just don't know. I haven't seen any of those corny ass, dumbass movies.
Mystic River is a good movie. Okay?
Has anybody in this room seen I Got the Hookup 1 or 2?
Okay, now you guys are seeing the giant red space laser. The space laser's heating up, okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, it's about to shoot down onto the Earth. What are you guys going to do to stop it?
Quick, make me angry, Malachi.
Hey, I heard that you weren't very successful academically in 2nd and 3rd grade.
Oh, that's
Maybe we need to get a little quieter around there. Slowly get quieter. As Malachi starts talking kind of quietly.
Stop it.
quick, make me angry, Malachi.
Hey,
That's too stark.
Stop it.
Quick, make me angry, Malachi.
hey, I heard that you weren't very successful academically in 2nd and 3rd grade.
We could even pump this up a little bit, even on the audio track. Even though I've mastered this audio already, sometimes when I am soundscaping it, I realize the audio needs to be a little louder. So what we can do here is isolate the audio on this track, just so it's this clip that's him being kind of quiet. And then there's an amplify option within Audacity. And you can just pump up. I just pumped it up by 6 decibels. Let's see how it sounds.
I heard that you weren't very successful academically in 2nd and 3rd grade.
That sounds a lot better. And it doesn't sound too unnatural. Sometimes when you go from quiet to loud like that, it sounds unnatural. But
Hey, I heard that you weren't very successful academically in...
that actually sounds great. Usually if the waveforms that you pump up are the size of the surrounding waveforms, the audio will be comparable.
Hey, I heard that you weren't very successful academically in 2nd and 3rd grade.
Oh, that's just true. That just hurt my feelings. It didn't make me angry.
Hey, aliens, is that my daughter in there?
God, stop talking! I brought your daughter!
It works.
And the giant
Okay, and that's the end of the sketch. Where do we want to fade out? And the giant space laser.
destroys everyone in shithole.
I think maybe as I'm saying, and the giant space laser is where we will want to fade out. So I'm going to select that kind of, I see where that was on the top track, and I'll select the same on the bottom track, put some clip boundaries in there. We don't need them up here. I was just doing that to help me draw them below. And then we're going to just use Audacity's fade out feature, get rid of the rest of that, and let's see how it sounds.
God, stop talking! I brought your daughter!
It works.
And the giant space laser destroys everyone, and Shit-Hulk fails
Good.
to stop.
Oh, no, the space laser hits Shit-Hulk directly in the chest and explodes Shit-Hulk.
All right, now is the time in the show where we take a quick break to recognize one of the phenomenal brand partnerships that make Versus possible. Today's episode is brought to you by Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary.
Wild Joe's is the sponsor for this week. We're going to want a little song for Wild Joe's. I have started to really just love to include some music over me because it's usually at the top of the commercial. It's usually me talking for a stretch of time. So that can get kind of boring for people to hear my voice for that long. What are we going to do for a Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary song? I already used one a couple weeks ago that would have been perfect. I don't want to reuse it again though. But which one was that? It was like, I think I called it like, yeah, Safari. This one. We used this one for the commercial about the cockroach that they did not want to talk about a cockroach for. I think that's kind of the vibe I want to go for here, but how would we describe the kind of sound? we would want for a song about Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary. Sound off in the chat if you have any ideas for search terms. But in the meantime, what would we say? Like, Big Cat Sanctuary. I want to add some, like, let's do the easy part while we marinate on what kind of music we might want. Let's do like lion roars. I'm gonna want to add like some random lion roars behind the song as we're talking. Some like wows. I'm sure we can just find some wows. That's too weird. I don't know if you guys can hear through my mic the police, or maybe it's an ambulance, but you know, if you believe what you read in the conservative news media, it's very dangerous here these days in New York City. You know, you got to take your gun that you're not allowed to have. No, it's not true. Everything's great. That's probably just someone getting picked up in an ambulance and being taken to one of our fantastic hospitals. That's too much. I just want a quick one, like a wow. That one's a dragon. I wonder if they recorded a real dragon. Oh yeah. That says it is the roar of the MGM lion. How is that legal? Yikes! Hide your kids. Hide your wife. These are like actual recorded in the field lion roars. I like the idea of, I might start taking audio whenever I go on vacation like I did of Italy. I like the idea of having that as like a companion to like taking photos and stuff. It's cool to listen to the places where we were and hear like the sounds. I feel like that's too, I almost want it to sound like... Okay, alright. Thanks, buddy. So there was one, I guess the MGM lion sounds pretty good, although I feel like it's sort of dubious. I mean, that's kind of perfect. That's what I want. I'll use like both of those maybe once or twice. So we've got our lion roar. And how are we going to describe this music? It was like, how about like safari music? Let's see what that returns, because that one song, I think it was called... Yeah, that was called Safari. This is the one we just listened to that I've already used. African Safari beat. It's pretty good. Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary. That's right, folks. Yeah, that's a big maybe. No. Delightful. No, I don't think that's quite right. That's the same thing. Ooh, maybe. We got here, chat. That was a bop. Yeah, a lot of these are a bop. I don't know if they're exactly correct. This might be good. This is kind of... Wait, what the hell is going on here? What did I do? Oh, that's this one. This one might work. I kind of like that one. So what do we got here? Between these two, I think. This one's also shorter. That could make a decision for us. How long is this? About 36 seconds. How much time do we need is the question. Let's listen to Wild Joe's. My part of it, at least, and we'll see how much time we need. We're at 25:38.
That's right, folks. The one where all the tourists keep getting mauled. See, since management at Wild Joe's couldn't seem to do anything to stop these beautiful, exotic creatures from mauling a larger than acceptable number of their guests, they just decided to lean into it and make it their main attraction.
Oops, I forgot to switch back to the Audacity screen again.
They just decided to lean into it and make it their main attraction. Malachi, your marketing
Okay, so that's pretty quick. Main attraction.
guy. Your
Malachi.
Malachi.
Malachi. That could fade out kind of into Malachi.
Your marketing firm are the
Okay. So what are we looking at here? 25, 54, 38. So that's like 2 and 6 and 10, like 16 seconds. So yeah, we don't need anything too long. This one takes a while to build. I think this one's the winner. This one will get some asses out of those seats, huh? As Anarcho Aesthetic pointed out, this is a bop. Alright, this one's perfect. So let's grab it. I'm going to download it. Put it into my... How are we going to describe this one? Safari Bop? Safari Bop. Is that this one? Let's see. Yes, okay. Safari Bop. Bibimbap, which is delicious. All right, so we've got our little thing. I am nearly 100% positive that we will use this sound and that it will work out. I'm going to go ahead and just put it on our oops, I usually put it in quotation marks by, wait, no, that's the person's name. Oh no, I'm getting it confused. It's called African Safari Beat. By person's name. Let's get rid of this so I don't get confused by it. Tic Tac 9. God bless you, Tic Tac 9, for your contributions to the Creative Commons, and thus, so that we can have a bop in verses. C, CCBYNC. What is it means non-commercial. That NC means non-commercial. So that means if and when the day comes, where we're making any money off of verses, I may need to go back and change some of these sound effects, unfortunately. But in the meantime, I'm just trying not to worry about that too much. Add the link to the license. I like to format it because I'm a little formatting pervert. And then, what is the... anyway, I always explain. So this is probably going to be used in part. And then let's actually drop it in and see how it sounds underneath audio. Let's go back to Audacity. So we're going to pull that into our Audacity file from music. I just called it Safari Bop. I'm going to grab it. We can just put it onto the regular old. So do we want it to start when I say Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary, or do I want to start at That's Right, Folks? Let's see.
Big Cat Sanctuary. Today's episode is brought to you by Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary. Wild Joe's
Big Cat Sanctuary. Ba-doop.
That's right.
Boop. Maybe Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary. We won't need this little tail here. Just chop that off. Chop off the tail. Start the music, which I'll drop in right here. Whoa! What did I do? What was that? Don't do that. Okay, cool. There's a big tail here, or a big, I don't know, forehead tail. I usually like to let it hit for a beat or two before I start talking again.
Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary. That's right, folks.
That's like a whole beat of this, but we don't need a whole beat of this. That's a bit too long. Save. Yes, thank you. Good save checkpoint. Cause I don't think Audacity does that. God bless Audacity. Again, anyone who's providing us all this stuff to work with for free. Creative Commons, Audacities are all free programs. Can't really complain about them, but they don't have an automatic save function, which is, dangerous. So don't complain about it, just save. I did save. I just did a nice Control S. Thank you, Anarcho Aesthetic. Let's see how this sounds.
Big Cat Sanctuary. That's right, folks. The one where all...
Is that enough beat-wise? I know it's too loud. We're going to have to mess with the volume.
Big Cat Sanctuary. That's right.
Is that too soon? That's right, folks.
Big Cat Sanctuary.
That's right, folks. Maybe a little later.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then we need it to get a lot quieter once I start speaking again. Oops, what am I doing? So then we'll use this tool to make it quieter on a little downslope. We don't want it to get too quiet too fast, but honestly, that used to bother me a lot, and then I listened to a lot of professionally edited NPR types of stuff, and now I hear it, and I'm like, oh, they just do whatever they want. So we're going to do whatever we want to.
Sanctuary. That's right, folks. The one where all the
That's not too bad. Maybe a slightly less dramatic slope. That's right, folks. The one where all the tourists keep getting mauled.
That sanctuary. That's right, folks. The one where all the tourists keep getting mauled. See,
I think that could be a little bit quieter still, but otherwise I think we're in great shape.
that sanctuary. That's right, folks. The one where all the
Yes,
tourists
that's not
keep
bad.
getting mauled. See, since management at Wild Joe's couldn't seem to do anything to stop these beautiful, exotic creatures from mauling a larger than acceptable number of their guests, they just decided to lean into it and make it their main attraction. Malachi, your marketing firm.
So Malachi, your marketing firm, I think we'll want to probably fade out on that. Malachi, your marketing firm. So I just clip me saying that up here to kind of guide the boundaries below that. I don't need these clips though. I like to clean things up. Guiding myself to a fade out here. And then probably getting rid of that stuff that comes after, but let's make sure that sounds good before we get too far away on the Control Z.
And make it their main attraction. Malachi, your marketing firm are the geniuses behind this.
See, that's what I mean. I think we can have a little more music, actually.
Malachi, your marketing firm are the geniuses behind this wildly successful pivot from Wild Joe's. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind creating this questionably legal modern-day blood sport.
Maybe even, I think the music can keep going, and I think maybe into Malachi.
Well, Drew, it
It was
was important to
important to us, and then it can kind of fade out as he's talking instead. I think that'll sound nice. Delete that. Let's join these clip bound. Maybe I should make sure it sounds good first, but whatever. Okay, let's give it some context. Take it back.
Guests, they just decided to lean into it and make it their main attraction. Malachi, your marketing firm are the geniuses behind this wildly successful pivot from Wild Joe's. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind creating this questionably legal modern-day blood sport.
Well, Drew, it was important.
Sounds too loud a little bit still to me. I'm going to get rid of these clip boundaries because that'll help us control the volume across it a little more evenly, but actually I want to just get rid of that dot entirely. I just want it a little bit quieter, not that much quieter.
Just decided to lean into it and make it their main attraction. Malachi, your marketing firm are the geniuses behind this wildly successful pivot from Wild Joe's. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind creating this questionably legal modern-day blood sport.
Well, Drew, it was important to us that we looked at all the aspects of human society and see what people want to see and what people want to do and how willing they are to come within close proximity of something that can murder them. The research was off the charts. We polled 100 white women, and they said that they just wanted to be in a situation that's terrifying for them. And, we thought, what's scarier than wild animals that are either, locked behind a cage where they can't reach you, or maybe not. Maybe someone left a lock unlocked. Maybe the cheetahs can dig underneath the fence and come and get you. Who knows what will happen? And everyone, look, Drew, everyone said when I brought this up and I said this is a good idea, no one agreed with me until just droves of white ladies from 25 to 67 started showing up and saying, yes, we want to feel like our lives are in danger, and they became the main patrons of this park. So it's a phenomenon that I can't explain. There is a correlation between white women that want to come to this park and that also own pit bulls. So there's something about a lady who will have an animal in her home who can kill her at any instance, and their desire to come be around other animals that can do the same.
We are still digging through the data to figure out what that means, but we are going to get to the bottom of it.
It's a beautiful thing. We've had 0 black patrons at this park. Not one.
Well,
I haven't had one yet. So.
Maybe they're just a little afraid of getting mauled by a large wild cat.
Still pushing. We bought a Black Panther, and we almost had a black family come because they thought it was the movie Black Panther, but then when they realized it was an actual Black Panther, they turned around and left and said, and I quote, "Hell no, you MFers are not going to get us to get eat up by MF Black Panther. F that. Oh, hell no."
Wild. Wow.
That's what they said while they were making a U-turn and leaving our animal sanctuary.
Johnny is...
All right. We're to Johnny's segment. I'm going to take another quick pee-pee break. I encourage you to do the same. Get some water. I'll be right back, and we'll get into the second third of the commercial break after this. Okay. We're back. We're back. Thank you. Good time to check in with everybody out there. It looks like there's a few people watching. Thank you to everyone in chat who is interacting and talking with me. Anarcho Ascetic, Los, everybody who's been sticking around since we started at 1 o'clock. We're like more than halfway through the episode. If you just tuned in or whatever, my name is Drew. Hi. We are working on an episode of the podcast Versus, putting the finishing touches on it, doing some soundscaping before the episode's due to release this Wednesday at midnight. If you're not familiar with Versus, you should check it out. I'm putting a link in the chat. It is versuspod.com. We release episodes pretty much every week. You can follow us on Twitter at Versus Pod NYC. You can follow me on Twitter at the letter L, the number 200. The letters STERL 200ster. I make jokes there too. We're 2/3 of the way through the edit here, or the commercial break rather. 1/3 of the way through the commercial break. I'll say it correctly. to John's segment. Let's forge ahead.
Johnny is the caretaker for these rescue animals because that's right, folks. Every glorious creature at Wild Joe's is a rescue. How do you ensure these beautiful rescue creatures are well taken care of and ready to delight and consume audiences from around the world?
Well, the first thing I do is I get them used to my scent, you know. I sleep in the cage next to them for about a month, and then slowly I introduce them to my teat, and I start to breastfeed them so that they recognize me as Mother Cat.
I just want to take a moment to say John's not into Freudian psychology. He's into Jungian psychology. And he'll gladly talk your ear off about it if you ever get him in the same room as you. But I think a Freudian psychologist would just have a field day with John Marino. Let's continue to listen to him talking about breastfeeding small tigers.
I bathe them with my tongue. I let them feed from either nipple. I can produce cat milk. I had a doctor. He's a scientist and not an actual medical doctor, but a doctorate in science. And he had mammograms implanted into my pectorals.
He had mammograms implanted into my pectorals. I want to put that on a t-shirt. Mammograms. I love you, Johnny.
So I can produce cat milk. And then I just generally stroke them. I scratch their little chins. I pat their head. And I've only lost one arm so far, so I think that's a pretty good track record.
That's a great way to get animals all riled up for murder.
Oh, yeah, when the blood drives them crazy.
Rory, surprise, surprise, since you're our guest on Versus today, you're going to receive a special gift. One non-transferable ticket for an all-expenses-paid trip to Wild Joe's Hotel of Wonders, the new resort at the center of Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary. For 7 straight days, you will be encased in a glass hotel of wonders surrounded by the majestic creatures we've been hearing about today, watching them circle and circle the hotel all day and night while constantly maintaining eye contact with the guests. Tell us what you're most excited about being subjected to over the next week of your life.
Oh, this sounds pretty exciting. Can I bring my family?
Nope, just one ticket.
Oh,
Unless, do you have any like very small children?
I used to.
Yeah,
but
not anymore.
Well, I have a few I can spare.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well,
yeah,
you can bring, if you got 1 or 2 really small children, because people have kind of wanted to see that.
Yeah, my family likes danger, so
Yeah.
that was my last kid was born when we were skydiving. Just popped right out of my wife instead of umbilical cord. A little parachute came out, so I like the danger. Yeah, I'm good at staring contests myself, so I'd like to go there and just stare one down like for days and days. I'll match them cat for cat, tit for tat.
This sounds like a match made in heaven, and yeah, we'll send a car for your other small relative. We won't be able to send you guys at the same time, but you'll maybe find each other sometime throughout the course of this 7-day ordeal. Vacation. Sorry.
Oh, well, yeah. He didn't need a car. He's 2. He can find me.
Oh,
He'll
okay.
find me.
Wow.
He'll find
This kid might save the day. Honestly, this kid sounds like a little MacGyver.
That's his name.
Oh, it's MacGyver?
Yeah, little MacGyver, Alf, Mr. T. That's adorable.
That's right, folks. It's Wild Joe's Big Cat. That's right, folks.
So I want the music to come in again at the end of the commercial. That's right, folks. It's Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary. That's right, folks, is where it's going to start. So all we need to do is mark that so we don't lose our place. How do I want to do this? Do I want it to come crashing in again? I think it needs to be faster this time. I don't want to spend as much time on. So it's the tail end of the episode, as you can see. This little meaty chunk here that I'm scooting around is all that we have left of the episode. We are through the commercial, almost to round 3 of games, and then we'll be wrapping up. And we might finish this before I have to log off to go hang out at Skulky the Hulky's house and hopefully feed him some delicious watermelon sorbet that is currently, hopefully not getting too hard in my freezer. Let's see what the end of this, how do I want this to sound?
That's adorable.
That's right.
Maybe dun, 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 maybe just after that first one this time. I don't want to spend too much time like we did last time.
That's right.
Yeah, so it just needs to get quieter sooner. So we can move this dot up here and it just moves the little slope down. This one will have to be pretty dramatic drop off. It'll just be like, and then quickly drop off.
Adorable.
That's right, folks. It's Wild Joe's.
Maybe it needs to be a little dun dun dun
That's right.
dun 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 dun. Maybe that.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds a little better. So I'm going to adjust this. So it's loud to here, gets very quiet here. Let's get rid of this dot. That'll help me control everything beyond it. Let's see how that sounds.
Adorable.
That's right, folks. It's Wild Joe's Big Cat Sanctuary.
Where you're the meat.
Beautiful.
It can trail off as I say that into beautiful. That's where we'll fade out this time. Add a little fade out, nice and easy in Audacity. There's a thing that says effect at the top, and then you just select what you want and hit fade out. Let's see how that all sounds.
Adorable.
That's right, folks. It's Wild.
That's actually a little too loud. It's clipping out a little bit at the top there. Maybe with a more dramatic fade it'll sound okay. Let's see how this looks.
That's right, folks.
It's okay, and it's still a little too loud because it's clipping out.
That's right, folks.
It's about as loud as it can be.
Big Cat Sanctuary, where you're the meat. Beautiful.
That's perfect. Hell yeah. Let's see what we got left. I think I might want to add a little bit of sound effect to round 3, but I'm not even entirely sure about that. So let's see what we got left, and we'll take it from there.
Beautiful. You guys each get 100 points for that. That was good.
I don't have anywhere to put those.
Wild Joe's. No, I'm keeping. I'll give them over to you at the end. It's kind of like when you check out at the.
Yeah, he cuts a big check for points.
You do. You put you put the tickets into the ticket machine, and then
you get a
receipt. Yeah.
And then you can turn them in for like prizes.
No.
Sure. Don't I get a Funko Pop on my way out or something?
You can have. I have one in the box still of that transphobic lady from Mandalorian. If you want that one.
If you guys are wondering where the Gina Carano outtake came from.
Hard one to. Okay, let's do round 3. This one's called Therapy Me. For this scene, John and Malachi will play 2 podcasters who've decided to go to therapy in a last-ditch effort to save their podcast. Rory, you will play their therapist and attempt to mitigate their differences with the plum and the poise and professionalism of someone who has years and years of medical experience. If this goes the way I hope, then Rory, you might just save the podcast, man. We're really counting on you here, okay?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. John and Malachi like each other. They just play it up for the podcast, guys, okay?
All right, so it's Rory. What does your psychologist's office look like? Your art therapy office.
It's a lot.
So we're talking about Rory's character's art therapy office, and he says,
art therapy office.
It's a lot like. Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yep.
It is a WeWork space.
All right.
All right. Yeah. So there's free coffee and.
Great joke from Rory. So my question here is, do I want to add like some ambient office noise in the background? And then there's a part where he's like, come in and shut my door, and then we could kind of do a door shut noise and make the ambient office background noise sound kind of like it's behind a closed door. This is kind of what I had in my brain. Let's see what's available to us as far as like ambient office noise goes, and we'll kind of take from there. This one might not even need soundscaping though. Office ambient. This could be a bunch of people silently weeping. Escritorio.aiff punto, which we discussed earlier. Escritorio.aiff. This one's not going to work. Office fan, no. I might be overthinking this one. I honestly feel like this sketch might not need soundscaping. Some random typing. I don't know, maybe. Okay, come in, shut the door. This is too little though. I mean, it's possible I could use that and something else. That sounds like hell. So I will not listen to any more of that, nor will I make you listen to any more of that. Timex office clock? No, we don't want that. Office room tone. Nah. stapler. That's nice. That sounds nice. Let's listen to this next one. That's nice. I like that. But no, we're not going to use that. The most annoying music ever. You know what? I don't know. Let's listen to this sketch. You guys tell me if you think it needs any noise over it. I think it turned out well. I think it's funny. We might not need anything over it. So let's just listen to it. Go back to the big Audacity window.
It is a WeWork space.
All
I
right,
can't afford my
all
own.
right.
Yeah, so there's free coffee in the back.
Lots of windows, free
Lots of
coffee.
windows, yeah.
I
happy
hear
hour
they got a
every
big
day.
discount going on right now.
And also enjoy the plums.
Yeah.
So there were some plums.
There
in
are some
so there's a
plums.
bowl
present,
of plums.
yeah. So Malachi and John walk in, and maybe bickering at each other a little bit, and Rory sees his two clients walking in.
Please, gentlemen.
Well, then you can tell whoever the person that wants to do our podcast is that they can suck on these balls because I don't want them to do it.
Well, you invited the guest.
Guys, can we?
I know, but am I allowed to change my mind?
Why don't you
Yeah,
guys?
I didn't
Am I
say
not
you
allowed
had
to change my mind?
I didn't say. I was just kind of
Guys, there's
perplexed.
I
other
can't
people-
change.
there's
Maybe
other
at the
people
beginning of the
working
week
here.
I wanted to come in here. Now I want him to suck my balls. So
Okay.
you can't be on the podcast.
There's other people working. Okay, in the WeWork. Just close the door. Each of you take a seat. I don't have.
So the people in the working in the WeWork come in, shut the door, take a seat. These could all be things that get soundscaped, right? Am I overthinking it, y'all? Sound off in the comments. I don't know. Would it add something to have just a couple little noises in this? I'm not sure. Let's keep listening.
Couches. You just
All
put
right.
two
Sorry.
chairs
Hello.
together.
Hey,
Can
how
I
you
just
doing?
sit at crisscross applesauce? Is that okay?
Why did you even have to
say it like
Why
that?
would you need to say that?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a little
Even
bit
the
of.
therapist agrees
She
with
works
me,
with
right?
children.
Therapist?
We
All right,
could
let's,
even,
let's-
yeah, Los, that could work. We could have music playing, and then when shut the door, have a seat. We have the door shut sound, and then we could have the music have kind of a tinny sound, so it sounds like they're behind, just to have something in the background. Therapist's office usually have smooth jazz playing in the receptionist area, but other than the rest, let's see. I like that idea. Maybe a little bit of music, and as he's laying the laying down what he thinks the office looks like, we could listen to some music. Let's go over to our. Oh, what did I do here? It looks like I moved my Audacity window, actually. I'm going to lock that down. Still learning about OBS and all this booty chatter, everybody. Let me just adjust that a little bit and then lock it. Okay, cool. So let's go to our shopping mall. We have a lot of jazz already. Sometimes there's been a couple times where I've used music from other episodes. There was one at the beginning of the therapy session, not the therapy session, the talk show. Do 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 da 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 do 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 that I ended up using. That was from Skulk's episode. I used in the Trader Joe's thing too. Let's see what we've got in my music library, jazz-wise. And they will all be, if you're fans of the show, they'll sound familiar to you. This one I used very recently for the one where Malachi was a bartender, John was the patron. This one I used very recently. Let's look for something new. I feel like we could use something new. Jazz. What kind of jazz? Smooth jazz? Smooth jazz, we said? Lo says smooth jazz. Let's see what we've got. No, that is stressing me out. It's not making me feel like therapy. No, it's not smooth enough. No. It'd be good if something could be used as a loop too, because we're gonna run for a while. I could even, we could even fade it out maybe after they sit down for the therapy session. We could just have a little bit of sound at the top. That's nice, but no. This is entrance music for therapy. That's what you listen to when you're gonna win therapy. Maybe something kind of jazzy guitar like this. This could work. Spa music? Yeah, that might be a good keyword. I don't want to lose this one. I like this jazzy guitar idea. No, that's too corny. I want like an elevator. Like, yeah, spa. Let's try spa music, and then maybe elevator music. Spa music, jungle spa experimental. I have a feeling this is gonna rule, but it's not gonna be what we want. Oh yeah, this is the sex therapist's office. That's the same thing. Relaxing sea music. Something like this is kind of funny. It would be kind of funny to have something super relaxing behind John and Malachi screaming at each other. That could be potentially funny. Just like ambient noise behind John and Malachi yelling at each other. It's kind of short though. No, that's just gonna make me have to go to the bathroom again. What do we had a freaking German ball over here? Well, that's just nice. Huh. The only thing I've seen that this kind of floats my boat a little bit. He could be describing the WeWork space, and then it could kind of come in with them bickering, and then it could be like a come in and shut the door, and then this could even be in the background with like a tinny effect on it, and then could even just fade out. Let's give it a shot. See what we got. What's this? Oh, I said I was going to add lion roars. Right. Maybe we don't need that in the end. Or maybe I'll go and do it later. We did log this one, right? Yep. So we can get rid of that. Get rid of these. Get rid of that. What do we got? That's that. We said this too, maybe. Do we like... Sound off in the chat. Do we like a little jazzy guitar while Rory describes his WeWork space, or do we like something that's just completely ambient noise like this? Describing a WeWork therapy office. No, we don't. Nah. I don't know. Maybe the music's better. What do y'all think? I'm going to try it with the music first, and then we'll see if we want to change it. So we're downloading it. Let's call this jazzy guitar. Jazzy guitar. I got a lot of big jazz library forming here. Okay, hold on. Actually, I want to mark this so I don't lose track of
Why
that.
would you need to say?
So that's them arguing.
Then you can tell whoever.
So this is the.
So Malachi and John walk in, and maybe bickering at each other a little bit. All right. So it's Rory. What does your psychologist's office look like? Your art therapy office.
It's a lot like.
So it could start with him kind of explaining what the WeWork space looks like. It could work. Let's see how it sounds. But this is where it starts. Oops, I pushed the wrong thing. Also, I want to switch to. Forgetting to switch back and forth. So I want to put a little stake in the sand here to make sure I don't lose my spot when I import this. So I'm going to import the jazzy guitar that we just downloaded. Grab that into Audacity and then drop it in right where we need it. We might want to have it come in a little stronger than this because it looks like it takes its precious time.
Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yeah, so how about like do as he's talking about the WeWork space. Let's see how this sounds.
What's this office look like? Your art therapy office.
It's a lot like. Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yep.
It is a WeWork space.
All right.
All right.
So be quiet.
There's free coffee in the back.
Lots of windows, free
Lots
coffee.
of windows.
I
Happy
think
hour.
they got a
I think
big
this might
discount
work
going on
perfectly.
right now.
And also enjoy the plums.
Yeah.
So there were some plums.
There are some
There's a
plums
bowl of
present.
plums.
So Malachi and John walk in, and maybe bickering at each other a little bit, and Rory Rory sees his two clients walking in.
Please, gentlemen.
This is
Well,
what I mean.
then-
Sometimes you find one that's just a good length. What do you guys think about that? I think I like that. I'm not like bananas about it, but I think it works pretty well. I just think it needs to be a little quieter.
Therapy
Listen to it
office.
again.
It's a lot like. Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yep.
Maybe
It
even the
is-
music with that typewriter sound in the background that we found earlier. Where was that? I think I lost it actually. So let's take a look and see if we can find it again. It was, I have that, I don't want to lose this, yeah, because I think I'm going to use it, so I might have to log it. But what did we type for Office? Ambient, and we found like somebody typing on a typewriter. That wasn't that one. Office, Ambient, Timex, Room, Keyboard. This could work, but I don't think this is the one I'm thinking of. Where'd it go? Oh, is it just this? Yeah, it was this one. Could even have a couple of these going, potentially. That's what that sounds like. Yeah, actually, I don't hate that idea. This one's a little bit more frenetic. Which is fine, I think, because we're working with like compressed, kind of a compressed timeline here. So I'm downloading that one. Let's call it keyboard typing. Which I don't know if my mic is picking it up, but you might be able to hear some of my own keyboard typing. I just cleaned my mechanical keyboard yesterday. Oh, baby. It is humming along. So I have a little folder for Foley types of sound. Heading out to eat pizza. Fun hang. Say yo to Skulk for me. I will. So, Lowe's, thank you so much for hanging so long. And you will hear what I end up doing with this if you listen to this week's episode. Yeah, man, you'll have a little bit more inside baseball on how it came together. I hope that's fun for you, man. Thanks for coming out and hanging for so long at last minute. I really appreciate it. And, enjoy the episode this Wednesday. And enjoy that pizza. So Foley, we've got keyboard typing. Keyboard typing. We're so close to the end here, and I am going to have to wrap up soon, but let's see if we can get to the end. So here's what it sounds like with the
have you ever been to a
WeWork.
space?
Yep.
It is a WeWork space.
So maybe it is a WeWork space and then starts typing at it is a WeWork space. That's kind of
It
fun.
is a WeWork space.
Typey. It is a WeWork space. That's like right here. And it looks like the typing sounds don't really start. Let's see how this sounds.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I like that. I just need to make it quieter.
It's a lot like. Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yep.
It is a WeWork space.
All right.
Yeah, so there's free coffee in the back.
Lots of windows, free
Lots of
coffee.
windows.
I hear they got a big
It could be quieter. But I like the comedic effect of the typing coming in when he says it's a WeWork
It's
space.
a lot like. Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yep.
It is a WeWork space.
All right.
Yeah, so there's free coffee in the back.
Lots of windows, free
Lots of
coffee.
windows.
I hear they
hour
got a
every
big
day.
discount going on right now.
And also enjoy the.
That's almost so quiet that you can't tell what it is anymore, though. What is? Maybe we could start it here.
Going on right now.
Maybe that's more distinct typing noise.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
There's free coffee in the back.
Lots of windows, free
Lots of
coffee.
windows.
I hear they
hour
got a
every
big
day.
discount going on right now.
And also enjoy the plums.
Yeah.
So there were some plums.
There are some
So there's a
plums
bowl of
present.
plums.
So Malachi and John walk in, and maybe bickering at each other a little bit, and Rory sees his two.
I think I can pump up my vocals here a little bit more.
And maybe bickering.
So John and Malachi.
So,
John-
Malachi-
Yeah, okay. I'm going to quarantine that off and just pump up the volume a little bit on this, maybe by like 2 decibels. because now that we have sound effects, it sounded fine when I was mixing it, but now that we have sound effects, there's stuff competing for it, so I want to pump it up.
Yeah.
So there were some plums.
There are some
So there's
plums
a bowl of plums.
So Malachi and John walk in, and maybe bickering at each other a little bit, and Rory sees his two clients walking in.
So I think as this fades out, we want the typing to fade out as well. So this one fades out naturally, so we really don't have to do much to it. I'm gonna fade this out artificially, and then get rid of the rest of it.
And maybe bickering at each other a little bit, and Rory sees his two clients walking in.
Please, gentlemen.
Well, then
That's nice. Better than just having, dead space for a little while. I always like to try to make it, vary it. Call this line SFX2 now because I'm using other sound effects on it. I want to just hear how this whole shebang starts, and then we'll listen to the whole sketch, I think. I don't think we'll need any more. There's a door. He says close the door at one point, but that's getting crazy. This isn't like, this isn't The Truth or some serious fiction podcast. We can get away with not doing all the Foley work.
Rory, what does your psychologist's office look like? Your art therapy office?
It's a lot like. Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yep.
It is a WeWork space.
All right.
I actually think it needs to get. Sorry to keep nitpicking, but I think where he says it is a WeWork space, I think that's a funny joke. I don't want it to get lost in music, so let's have it fade out sooner.
Psychologist's office look like? Your art therapy office?
It's a lot like. Have you ever been to a WeWork space?
Yep.
It is a WeWork space.
All right.
I think that's fine.
There's free coffee in the back.
Lots of windows, free
Lots of
coffee.
windows every-
I hear they got a
every
big
day.
discount going on right now.
And also enjoy the plums.
Yeah.
So there were some plums.
There are some
So there's
plums
a bowl of plums.
So Malachi and John walk in, and maybe bickering at each other a little bit, and Rory sees his two clients walking in.
Please, gentlemen.
Well, then you
sounds
can
good.
tell whoever the person that wants to do our podcast is that they can suck on these balls because I don't want them to do it.
You invited the guest.
Guys, can we?
I know, but am I allowed to change my mind?
Why don't you guys?
I didn't
Am I
say
not
you didn't
allowed
have
to change my mind?
I didn't say. I was just kind of
Guys,
perplexed.
there's
I
other
can't
people.
change.
There's
Maybe
other
at the
people
beginning of the
working
week
here.
I wanted to come in here. Now I want him to suck my balls. So
Okay.
you can't be on the podcast.
There's other people working, okay, in the WeWork. Just close the door. Each of you take a seat. I don't have couches. So just
All
put
right.
two
Sorry
chairs
about that.
Hello.
together.
Hey,
Can
how
I
you
just
doing?
sit at crisscross applesauce? Is that okay?
Why did you even have to
say it like
Why
that?
would you need to say that?
That's what my wife said.
Exactly. Even the therapist agrees
She works
with me,
with
right?
children.
Therapist?
All right, let's treat this podcast as like a baby. Do either of you have real babies?
Oh, well, first I got to sit in this cheek, left cheek, right cheek, sit in the chair all week. Even make up a dumbass rhyme so you sit down.
I
make up
choose-
one for me.
Does
I
that
choose
make
to
you
sit in a
angry?
way that's painful for myself.
That's
right.
fucking stupid.
It hurts to sit like this.
Yeah.
That's you see. Do you see a therapist while he's sitting here complaining about?
I have a name.
How
It's
it hurt?
Mr.
Nobody told him to sit like
You
that.
don't have to call me therapist.
Now I'm going to.
It's Dr. Fisher.
Yeah, but I don't remember people's names, but I do remember occupations.
Thank you for
real
taking
well.
the time to see us, Dr. Fisher.
Thank you. That's a point for you. You didn't know you get points. But
Yeah, thanks, therapist.
Therapy.
Yeah, the only thing. Guess what the therapist didn't tell you is that he took points off you sitting crisscross applesauce
Well,
like a dumbass.
That's Dr. Fisher, and no, I didn't. That's fine. So, what's the name of the podcast, guys? What's going on?
Oh, well, that's a big problem. We haven't even named it yet
Okay.
because this motherfucker won't settle on a name. My
No,
choice for
I've come up with plenty of names. You've just said no to all of them.
I have. Because what was the first one you came up with? The podcast. That's fucking
Was
stupid.
well, the hard the
Okay.
podcast.
See,
That is
but
a
how
hard-
how
that's
will
a hard
people
no.
know where the accent is on there? What was the second one
You just
came up with?
capitalized the,
You remember the second name?
and then you capital P but lower cast.
You remember the second name you came up with? The long ass one where it was like the
Malachi and me go to a studio and record fun things for you to listen to in your ears for about 15 to 25 minutes at least once a week.
That's
subscribe
stupid as hell.
and like
That
and
was
share because
the-
we need you.
Let him finish.
That was the
Let him
working title of Versus
That's
for a
stupid
while.
as hell.
We need you
Because-
maybe we had problems in our childhood.
Versus is
that
more
led us to
succinct.
Have issues with needing acceptance.
I would listen
and
to
not
that.
just
See?
like one or two people, and not just you because you're my friend, but like on a broader scale. Like I just need people to like us.
Can you tell me the name of the
Wait,
podcast
yeah,
one more
say it
time?
again one more time. I forgot what it was.
Yeah. Like
You see what I'm saying? Is that like he comes up with shit like that, and then and now if somebody wants to tell somebody else about our podcast, they get 2 seconds into it, and that other party is uninterested.
Okay.
I think it's
Here's-
pretty simple.
that's-
Malachi and me like to hang out and
Yeah.
go to a room where we record stories for you to like
That's
us.
not even what you said the first time.
Because we have
Not even
abandonment
close.
issues because my mother wasn't there and daddy wasn't there.
Okay.
And so Malachi yells at me, and sometimes it reminds me of how my father used to treat me, and I think Malachi is my father, and I'm projecting onto him.
Malachi, how does that make you feel? when
That
you hear
makes me feel like he's an idiot because I shouldn't seem like his father at all.
That was stupid.
I don't
You're right.
look like his
Stupid,
father. I don't
stupid,
feel like
stupid.
his father, and I don't do things his father
All right,
does.
so far this is great. You're both right. All right, we're going to do an exercise. At the count of 3, I want you to look at each other, and I want you to say one thing that you like about each other, okay? At the count of 3, you're going to say it at the same time. We're going to go from here. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Nothing.
The way your hair looked when we first met.
Nothing. I don't like it. I don't like anything about you.
Well, he said nothing, and then you said
Yep.
something that was basically nothing. So you're on the
It
same
was pretty good.
path.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, all right.
We actually, on the way over here, we saw a guy that had hair like Malachi's was before, and Malachi commented, "Nice hair."
Hey, therapist, I will give you $2,000 if you make John feel bad the rest of this time we're in here.
It's Dr. Fit. How much?
$2,000 cash.
If I just make John feel bad?
Yep.
Please
That's
don't
all
do
you
that,
gotta
Dr.
do.
Fisher.
Why would I? I would never do that. He
That's all you gotta
feels
do,
bad
sir.
enough because of his life is awful.
There you go. There you go.
Do you have my Venmo? It's at therapist.
Yep.
All right.
$2,000 right there, baby.
So let's just.
I was thinking at this $2,000 right there, baby.
$2,000 right there, baby.
I might add a ka-ching or something like that, like a cash register sound. But since we're going silent, other than the intro for this one, I think I'm gonna just forget it. It's gonna feel intrusive at this point.
All right.
$2,000 right there, baby.
So let's just say if
It's
you
fine
could do a
without it.
podcast about anything, what would it be? You know, you got to have some common ground here.
That's the trouble. The podcast that I wanted to do was about elephants.
Okay.
I love elephants.
Yep.
Well, you didn't tell me about this.
I did tell you about this.
Did you?
Yep.
Was I blackout drunk?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like elephants when I'm blackout drunk. I only like elephants like normal.
Who does?
Problem
That's
is
the
that like,
problem.
the thing is one of us is usually blackout drunk, and it's
Right.
never at the same time.
Well, this is perfect. You can call the podcast "The Elephant in the Room," and one of you will always be drunk, and the other one will be sober.
Be the
and
elephant.
and be the elephant, and then
I think that's the title for this episode too. I usually like to give the title to the title of the episode is always something that got said during the course of the episode, except for versus trivia. There's one episode that is not a direct quote from the episode itself. You will get versus points, which are worthless if you can tell me which episode that is. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I usually like to make the episode title something that the guest says when we have a guest. So I think the elephant in the room will probably be this week's.
there you go.
I
Holy
really
shit,
like that.
therapist!
Perfect.
And then at the end of the episode, the listeners can try to decide
Who's drunk,
was
and
drunk
who's
and who's
sober?
not.
Yeah.
And then that's what makes sense.
actually a
There's
pretty
an
good
elephant
idea
in
for
the
a
room because
podcast.
they'll hear a bunch of crashing and banging and hear John crying for help, thinking he's getting attacked by an elephant when it's really just me.
And that's why I hate elephants when I'm drunk.
Well, it sounds like you've worked it out, right? This is going to be a good thing for the both of you.
I like it. Elephant in the room.
Can you guys hug? Can I see a hug?
Can we side hug?
Can we
Side
do
hug,
a
okay?
side hug?
Side.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Is he drunk?
Oh yeah, I'd say drunk, man.
And great work. I mean, I think we accomplished a lot of things there at the same
So sometimes what I like to do to just break it
And
and great work. I don't think we need that breathing. All that waveform right there is just me going, let's get rid of it. And let's add a cut here. Let's see how it sounds just to transition us out. If we just grab the music again real quick. And we'll just have a quick little outro music while we end the sketch. Let's find the spot that I made the break, paste the music in. Let's see. I think it's going to need to come in sooner than that because this is kind of a subtle
Yeah,
start.
sure. Oh yeah, I'd say drunk, man.
And great work. I mean,
Maybe that.
I think
Yeah, I think that's where I would like it to start. Let's see how it sounds. Snippy, snippy. Snippy, snippy.
Man.
All right, great work.
and great work. I mean,
That can quickly get quieter, and it doesn't need to go on for too long. I just like to have something to transition us out of the sketch.
And great work. I mean, I think we...
Can I see a
A
hug?
little more context. I like to listen to
Side hug?
context.
Side
Do a
hug, okay?
side hug?
Side.
Yeah, sure.
Is he drunk?
Oh yeah, I'd say drunk, man.
And great work. I mean, I think we accomplished a lot of things there at the same time. As a therapy session, you guys
Accomplished a lot of things there at the same time. Therapy
accomplished
session.
a lot of things there at the same time. As a therapy session, you guys figured
Let's have it fade out. I just want a quick little spot of music.
accomplished a lot of things there at the same time. As a therapy session, you guys figured out as a therapy session, you guys figured
Let's see how this sounds with a fade out here. I'm adding an artificial fade out.
And great work. I mean, I think we accomplished a lot of things there at the same time. As a therapy session, you guys figured out a thing
Yeah,
for a new
that sounds good.
podcast, and Rory got a small taste of what it's like to be the game master on Versus. Did you notice that he immediately just started trying to give out points to assuage things?
Yeah.
It was actually kind of
I mean,
fascinating.
it's the
didn't
best
know
way
that
to
was gonna
wrangle us
happen.
in is point.
I never thought of myself as a
Bribery.
therapist.
All right, let's tally up the points on the old Versus supercomputer.
Okay, we are very close to the end. I want to add one or two more things, one more quick trip to the toilet, and I will be right back. I love you. Thanks for sticking around. Okie doke, we're back. All right, there's a couple more things I want to add in here, and then we have to add the outro flourish, which is the same every episode, and then we're done.
Yeah, bribery.
All right, let's tally up the points on the old Versus supercomputer.
I have a Versus supercomputer because I've made a joke about the fact that we have a Versus supercomputer in another episode. I have some computer beeps. Yeah, that's the one. I'll have to find out how to credit that one, but the good news is we already have a sound effect that we can use for that in my sound library. I'm just going to pull it into this Audacity file. I called it computer bleeps. I will cut it and paste it in where I want it. We've got the Versus supercomputer running here. This is very loud, so I'm going to make it much quieter than that, and then I'll probably fade it out.
Wow, look. Wow.
Maybe at wow. Maybe it doesn't need to fade out. Maybe it's just beeps.
Wow, look.
At wow, it can just stop maybe. Let's see how that sounds. So we cut it. We have some computer beeps. Let's listen to some context.
All right, let's tally up the points on the old Versus supercomputer. Wow, look at that.
Maybe it does need to fade out a little bit. Real quick fade out. Let's see how it sounds.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that sounds much better.
Tally up the points on the old Versus supercomputer. Wow, look at that. Rory Scholl comes out as the
Sounds
winner
good.
of Versus today. Can you believe it?
Wow.
Wow. Thank you. Oh, this is my First time, oh, it's an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
First time winning versus. How does it feel?
I don't know. It's gonna probably hit me on the car ride home.
Yeah, it usually takes a while for how horrible these things are to set in.
Yeah.
Yeah, when something really terrible happens to you.
That's it.
Rory, do you have anything to plug to
Gotta
our
go play
dozens and
Delivery Boys,
dozens?
so you gotta bounce. Love the show, Drew, but also if Skull Kel and yourself ever wanted to play Sea of Thieves again, that'd be fun to watch. Side note, you aren't already, you should definitely archiving your streams over on YouTube. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do all that. I am saving, I'm having Audacity, or not Audacity, OBS record these at the same time. But yeah, I do need to figure that out. I'm still figuring all that stuff out. I would be interested to hear what you played Delivery Boy for. I was a Postmate for a summer between when I lost my job and when I got a new job in 2016. I also delivered food much. I hope you get many huge tips. Thank you for hanging with us the whole time. If you're still there, Anarcho Aesthetic. Otherwise, I'll catch you later. Otherwise, for the rest of you, looks like there's still a couple people watching. We're almost at the end of this episode, and then we're going to wrap up. I'll say goodbye to you guys. But thank you so much for sticking around. We are nearly to the end.
Listeners? We seem to have a solid 50 people that tune in, but we've really
Peace out,
stagnated a lot. So to those 50 people, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
No. If it was 51 people, I would plug something. But
Yeah,
50's
I
not.
mean, you know.
QED in Astoria, Queens is a very nice comedy club. We're doing a 2-prov tournament festival to find the best improvised duo in New York, and that's at the end of October.
Am I judging that? Am I one of the judges?
Yeah, Malachi's going to be one of our judges.
We got to enter John and Malachi into that. Think about how well they play the rules of improv together.
Yeah.
Everyone will
great
love
idea.
them.
Oh,
at a
yeah.
Traditional improv.
They could be
venue.
audience favorites. I don't know about the judges, but audience favorites.
Never any
Yeah.
negation going on.
yeah.
No,
Everyone
no,
always
always yes, yeah.
Never had arguments.
Well, puree me with an immersion blender and let it simmer on the range for a number of hours because that was an absolutely saucy episode of Versus, my little marineras. Hey, speaking of ragu, what about ragu goo gaga?
Oh, that's a good transition.
Oh, that's the Michelin Man as a baby, right? Got it.
Damn, that baby's ugly. This is the baby that sits on the side of the pool with the shirt on because it doesn't want to take a shirt off.
That baby's body looks like a basset hound's face. Jeez.
Rory going for the throat.
Rory getting right into the baby roasts and the spirit of things. And that is the end of the episode. The last thing we need to do is add the outro flourish, which is the same each time. Just import that. I think this is the right one, right? I hope so. Let's see. All we need to do really is tack it on to the end of the episode here, and this should be good to go.
Going for the throat.
None of the views were.
Oh no, that isn't the right one. I thought I might have grabbed the wrong file. Let me find Eric outro. Right, that's what I did. So I just reorganized my folders recently, which of course means I can't find anything now since they're so well organized. So here's the real outro flourish, which is the same every time. So all I have to do is tack it on to the end of each baby roast.
Damn.
Jeez.
Rory going for the throat.
None of the views or opinions or whatever the hell was just said is in any way representative of anyone who just said anything on this podcast. Versus is a work of fiction and should never ever be taken as serious advice. Versus is not suitable for children. Versus is also not suitable for adults or the elderly. We probably should move that part to the beginning of the podcast.
Beautiful.
If you're enjoying Versus, please visit our website, versuspod.com. Subscribe, like, and share.
That's always a good feeling when we get to this part because it means we are pretty much done. 41 minutes. This is the longest episode of Versus, certainly to date. Good work. Always nice to have a guest. Rory was great. Great having him on the show. Always more content, I feel like, when we have guests on the show. But that's pretty much the end of it. This is what the whole landscape kind of looks like, all squished down. We've got the intro flourish here. We've got our little dings that we added. We've got the Marvel movie sequence here in the middle. We've got the commercial, I think that's what this was, right?
It's a lot.
Oh no, this was the end of the commercial. And then some, like jazz there for the last sketch and the outro flourish. And that is a soundscaped episode of Versus. I might go back in and do one or two more things. Like I said, add some like roars over the intro music for the commercial. And then I gotta do a little bit more work in my very exciting Google Doc where I'm cataloging all of the different Creative Commons sound effects that we're using. But other than that, that's pretty much a wrap on this. So thank you everybody who is still sticking around. It looks like there's still somebody in here. If there's more people than that, then thank you. If there's one person in here, thanks for sticking around. This was, over 3 hours of editing. It's a lot of fun. But it does seem like a chore sometimes, or it seems like a job, and it's a lot of fun to to Lou, Lil Unanimous. You just got here. I'm sorry. We are wrapping up. I've been doing this for over 3 hours, and we are done with this week's episode of Versus Soundscaping It. But the good news is, even if you missed it, maybe you can go back and watch this on my Twitch channel at L200ster. Can you go another hour? I unfortunately can't because I'm going to Skulk the Hulking's house in a little bit and meet my wife there, and Skulk is having a housewarming party. So I'm going to do that. But you can definitely check out this episode of Versus on Wednesday when it comes out. It'll be coming out Wednesday at midnight, versuspod.com. You can find it on your favorite podcast player there. You can follow me on Twitter at the letter L, the number 200, and then the letters STER. Did I do a Twitter thing? No, I'm just typing weird random stuff into the chat here. Skulk moved a little. Oh, this spell guy. What's up, man? Yeah, no, it's over, bro. But I'm gonna email this to you in a minute. But yeah, you're the only one in the room right now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. But hell yeah, man. Hope you're feeling better, and we will talk soon. And I'm ending the stream, and versuspod.com, 5 stars, blah, 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 blah. I love you. Goodbye.